Hey friends, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a quick tip video on how I break down and organize and store my white cardstock to make it quick and easy for card making sessions. So the main ones I use are all 8.5 by 11, so that one's pretty basic. I think pretty much everyone knows how to break down that into a standard size card, but just in case there are any who don't, we will go through that. But the more difficult one is the Bristol, because it comes in two different sizes, but both of them are a little bit trickier to break down. The one that I buy is this one, which is the 11 by 14 inches. It's so big it doesn't even fit in my camera screen unless I turn it sideways. But I break this down into A2 size little panels so that I can make standard size cards quick and easy. And so I thought I would just show you how I do that today with as minimal waste as possible. And then I'll show you how I store everything at the end so that I can grab it quickly and just, you know, not have to worry. When I'm ready to make a card, I have all of my supplies ready to go, all of my paper right at hand. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side for a second and pull out my paper trimmer. So this is the paper trimmer that I use. It's from Fiskars. I have had this a really long time and I've never had any issues with it. I was still using this back in my old house, and we have lived in this house. It'll be 10 years in October. So I've been using this paper trimmer for at least 11 or 12 years, something like that, maybe even 13. And I never have any problems with it. The only thing I ever have to replace is just the little blade. And it has that little wire guideline. And so I really recommend this one. I've never had any problems with it. So I'm going to go ahead and tear off a sheet of cardstock. So I've torn out a sheet of cardstock from that paper pad. And again, this measures 14 inches by 11 inches. And an A2 standard size card front is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I know that half of 11 is 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut on the long side at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to place this in my paper trimmer and line that up till I have 4 1/4. And then I'll just go ahead and make a cut. Move this piece off to the side. Slide this up again to 4 1/4. Make another slice. Set this piece off to the side. Slide this into my paper trimmer one more time to 4 1/4. And make that cut. And now this is what I am left with. So you could save this and do something with it if you wanted to. I only use my Bristol for ink blending, and I tend not to use this size piece. I like to use other paper for like sentiment strips or anything. I'm not really a fan of using Bristol for that if I can help it. So I just toss this, but it's just a little piece and it's not too much waste. And for me, this is still the best option. The rest of these panels are going to break down evenly. We're going to just go back and slide them in the paper trimmer to the 5 1/2 mark. Make that cut, and now we have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 panel, 2 of them. So one sheet of the Bristol cardstock is going to make 6 A2 size panels with one little strip left over that you could save if you wanted to. Like I said, if you have some ideas for something you could do, maybe you could make some skinny bookmarks or something out of those. But honestly, I would rather not have all of those scraps sitting around, because I'll break down a whole pad and I've just got tons and tons of them. So I just go ahead and toss it because I would rather not have it crowding up my space in my craft room. But anyway, there you go. That's how I do my Bristol cardstock. I take the 11 by 14 and turn that into 6 4¼ by 5½ panels with very minimal waste, in my opinion, at least. So the rest of the cardstock almost always comes in 8½ by 11 sheets. So this is my Catherine Pooler favorite. There's the Nina. I've got some Pen and Gear from Walmart, just cheap cardstock. So let's go ahead and break down one of these just in case it's something that you might not have done if you're new to card making. Sorry about the noise. These always come packaged in that noisy plastic wrap. So this is 8½ by 11 cardstock. So again, half of 11 is 5½. So we already know that that is going to be perfect. And then half of 8½ is 4¼ So this is going to break down perfectly with 0 waste. And it doesn't matter which way you cut it, it's going to go evenly, but I'm just going to go ahead and move to the 5½ mark going on the long side, make one slice that way. And I'll do a whole bunch of these at once, and then I'll turn them and do it the other direction at the 4¼ mark. So there we've got 2. And then this one will make 2 more. So no waste at all if you have the 8½ by 11 cardstock and you want to make a standard size card front. So let me go ahead and set that aside now, and I will show you how I store all of this cardstock once it's broken down. So this is my white cardstock storage system. I have everything organized in this bin by brand. This is just one of those clear bins that you can get at pretty much any of the home improvement stores, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Amazon, any place. This one here is from Interdesign, but it just fits the cardstock perfectly. And I have everything organized how I want it. I have a little space for portrait and landscape cards in the front, but I almost never ever make a white card base. I just prefer to use colored cardstock for my card bases, but I do use white cardstock all the time for stamping and coloring my images, or making backgrounds, or doing sentiments, or layering behind pattern paper, all that kind of stuff. So I do go through a whole bunch of different kinds. So I have sections in here for Spectrum Noir. I've got Catherine Pooler, so we can go ahead and stick the ones we just cut down in there. I've got my Nina Solar White. Then I have my Bristol, so I can go ahead and put those in there. I have Tim Holtz watercolor paper. And then in the back I have Georgia Pacific, and I also have the Pen and Gear kind of mixed in there. I don't have those labeled separately because it is the exact same quality in my opinion, so I just stick them together, whichever one I've got. So anyway, all I did for these little dividers is I took plastic notebooks. So it's just these cheap plastic notebooks that you can get every year at back to school time. It has like the little section inside and the pockets on the front. This is the same thing that I use to do my stamp and die dividers. So I just cut off the pocket and then I just trim these down to be I think they're 5½, but I make them a little bit taller than 4¼ It might be 5½ by 4½, so that I have room for the divider to just stick up slightly above the kind of cardstock it is, so that I can see it. And it's very soft and flexible. And then I just put a label on there with my Brother P-Touch label maker. And that keeps everything nice and neat, so I can just flip through and see which brand I want to use. Some of them are different weights or different brightnesses. I just did a review video comparing different white cardstocks and you know, which one is best for Copic coloring or alcohol marker coloring. So I've got different varieties for different things. I've got my Bristol for my ink blending. I've got my Tim Holtz for watercoloring. And then the Georgia Pacific I basically only use you know, for like layers and things that aren't going to show, because that one I think is just not as good of a quality. But anyway, that is pretty much how I do it. I do also have this little sanding sponge, and when my white cardstock is getting low, I will just place that in there. Sometimes I place it this way if I've got more, but that just kind of keeps it more upright so I can flip through it easier rather than having it fall down. And I just use that when I'm making like the little composition notebooks, when I alter those and, you know, put different covers on them and stuff. So I just keep it in there as like a space taker upper so that it just makes it easier to flip through my cardstock. But yeah, whenever I have a little bit of extra time, you know, every couple months I'll sit down and maybe listen to an audiobook and just break down cardstock when I feel like I'm getting low on anything, and then I have it ready to go. I do always keep a little bit of cardstock in the full size though, in case I want to make a different size card. I would say 99% of the cards that I make are A2 standard size cards, but occasionally I'll do a square card or a slimline card or a mini slimline card, and so you'll need a different size cardstock for that. So I do keep a few sheets of every brand whole so that I can break it down later as needed. But otherwise, I just grab and go from here, and it is just one less thing that I have to think about when I'm sitting down to create cards. So I hope this tip helped you guys out and that you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give the video a like and leave me a comment and let me know. Let me know if there's any other type of quick tip videos that you would like to see me do. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.